Right now, you are breathing. You are not thinking about it. You never do. Your chest rises, your chest falls, and your body just handles it. The same way it has handled it every single minute since the moment you were born. But here is the part nobody tells you. You are doing it wrong, and it is slowly wrecking you. Not slightly wrong, not a minor inefficiency. Fundamentally, structurally, mechanically wrong in a way that is degrading your sleep, narrowing your airways, keeping your nervous system locked in a low-grade state of panic, and quietly reshaping the bones of your face. And you have probably spent your entire life mistaking the symptoms for just being tired, just being anxious, just being someone who doesn't sleep well. The real answer is far stranger than you think, because this isn't just about air. It's about evolution, jaw structure, the agricultural revolution, and the decision your ancient ancestors made 10,000 years ago that is still living inside your skull today. Start here. Put your hand on your chest right now. Breathe in normally. Did your chest rise first? Did your shoulders lift slightly? If yes, you are a chest breather, and for most of your waking life, that is exactly what your body has been doing without you realizing it. Chest breathing is shallow breathing. It pulls air into only the top third of your lungs, but the bottom 2/3, where the vast majority of oxygen exchange actually happens, barely gets used. You are running your entire body on partial fuel every minute of every day, and you have no idea. James Nestor spent years researching the science of breathing for his 2020 book. What he discovered was extraordinary. Humans are the most chronically misbreathing species on the planet. We are worse at breathing than dolphins, worse than horses, worse than dogs. Species that evolved alongside us, facing the same oxygen-rich atmosphere, breathe with a mechanical efficiency that makes us look broken by comparison. And the question Nestor kept returning to was the same one you should be asking right now. How did we end up like this? The answer starts in your nose. Your nose is not just a smell detector. It is a filtration system, a humidifier, a pressure regulator, and a delivery mechanism for a molecule called nitric oxide. When air passes through your nasal passages, the turbinates inside warm it to near body temperature. They add moisture. They filter out bacteria and particles. And critically, the sinuses surrounding the nasal cavity produce nitric oxide, which gets added to the air as it flows through. Nitric oxide is not a minor detail. It dilates your blood vessels. It increases oxygen uptake in the lungs by around 18%. It has antiviral and antibacterial properties. It helps regulate blood pressure. When you breathe through your mouth, you bypass every single one of those benefits. You deliver cold, dry, and filtered air with zero nitric oxide straight into your lungs, like a package stripped of all its protective materials. Researcher Patrick McCunnon, founder of the Oxygen Advantage method, has spent decades documenting what chronic mouth breathing does to the body. He found that mouth breathers have measurably higher rates of sleep apnea, asthma, anxiety, and chronic fatigue. Their cortisol levels run higher. Their heart rate variability, one of the most reliable markers of nervous system health, is consistently lower than nasal breathers. They are, in measurable physiological terms, more stressed, not because their lives are harder, but because their breathing is triggering a low-grade stress response in their body around the clock, 24 hours a day, whether they are at their desk or lying in bed. Here is why that happens. Your autonomic nervous system has two modes: the sympathetic system, your fight or flight state, and the parasympathetic system, your rest and recover state. These two systems are in constant negotiation, and your breathing pattern is one of the primary signals they use to decide which mode to activate. Short, shallow, rapid chest breaths are the breathing pattern of a threatened animal. They are the breathing pattern of a human being who is scared. And your nervous system, which cannot distinguish a stressful email from a predator, responds exactly the same way. Cortisol rises, digestion slows, muscles stay slightly tense, the mind stays slightly alert. You are never quite calm. You are never quite resting. You are living in a permanent, invisible, physiological simmer, and you have normalized it so completely that you think it is just your personality. So how did we drift so far from breathing correctly? This is where your skull comes in. Dental anthropologist Robert Corricini spent decades studying human jaws across history and populations. He compared skulls from pre-agricultural societies to skulls from post-agricultural ones. The difference was stark. Before agriculture, human jaws were wide, forward-grown, with straight teeth and open airways. After agriculture, everything narrowed. When humans shifted from tough, fibrous, heavily chewed raw foods to soft-cooked grains, porridges, and eventually the ultra-processed food of the modern world, the mechanical demand on our jaws dropped dramatically, and the jaw responded the way any biological structure responds to reduced demand. It stopped developing to its full genetic potential. The jaw is not a fixed structure. It is dynamic. It responds to force. Chewing hard food builds the jaw muscles, which pull on the facial bones and stimulate horizontal growth. A wide jaw means a wide palate. A wide palate means a wide nasal cavity. A wide nasal cavity means easy, efficient nasal breathing. When that stimulus disappeared, jaws got narrower, palates arched higher and pushed up into the nasal space. Teeth became crowded and crooked, which is why orthodontics is now a multi-billion-dollar industry, and why nearly every child you know has had or will have braces. Your ancestors who ate hard food did not need orthodontists. Their jaws were fully developed, and because their jaws were fully developed, their airways were open. Yours probably are not. So what does correct breathing actually look like? It is nasal. Always nasal unless you are sprinting. Your mouth is for eating and speaking. Your nose is for breathing. That is not a lifestyle preference. That is anatomy. It is diaphragmatic. When you breathe in, your diaphragm, the large, dome-shaped muscle beneath your lungs, should contract and push downward. Your belly should expand outward. Your chest should barely move. This is how sleeping infants breathe. This is how trained singers breathe. This is how your body was designed to breathe before chronic stress and poor posture taught it to stay permanently braced. And it is slow. The average modern person breathes 15 to 20 times per minute. The optimal rate, validated across multiple physiological studies, is closer to 5 to 6 breaths per minute. At that pace, your nervous system shifts toward parasympathetic dominance. Oxygen delivery to your tissues actually improves, not because you are taking in more air, but because of something called the Bohr effect, described by Danish physiologist Christian Bohr in 1904. Carbon dioxide is the trigger that causes red blood cells to release oxygen into your tissues. When you overbreathe and exhale carbon dioxide too rapidly, your red blood cells hold onto oxygen more tightly. You are breathing faster, but your cells are getting less. Slow down, and your body actually runs better on less air. The paradox at the center of all of this is worth sitting with for a moment. The most automatic thing your body does, the thing it has done since your first second of life, is also the thing it has gotten measurably worse at over 10,000 years of civilization. You traded your strength for soft bread. You traded nasal airflow for the open-mouthed convenience of modern life. You traded slow, deep, diaphragmatic breathing for the shallow, rapid chest breathing of a species that has quietly forgotten what rest actually feels like. Right now, you are breathing. The question is whether you have ever actually done it right.